I'm quite glad that we mentioned Ilya Kolarac, because I think for me personally, I think for many of our members, he's been a kind of a significant inspiration in what we do. It's enough just to walk down Studentsky Park to see somebody's name and say, this person 100 years ago thought of something we're benefiting from today. And I think this is what we have, you know, we're missing this in our society, this kind of long-term view. What's going to happen 50 years from now, 100 years from now? This is traditionally how, you know, Asian civilizations think. We are all in the next month and next quarter, and we're chasing some material goods. So I think trying to kind of, I won't say copy, but be inspired with what Kolarac and similar people, there's a number of pre-war industrialists who were very strong in philanthropy. I will just mention George Weifert, who was also, you know, known more for the beer, a brand, or being on the 1,000 dinar note. But in fact, we just recently, foundation of George Weifert published a book. If you see what this person did, you're just humbled, you know, with this kind of opus that he did during his life. It's unbelievable. So I think, you know, I lived in many countries during the 2000s, and all of our members as well have kind of experience from living and working abroad. So when you live and work abroad, you see that this is it's a given. If you're successful in your business, if you took care of your family and your immediate kind of surroundings, then the next thing you do is you start giving, you start solving certain problems in society. Hopefully you're not a politician. But if you're not a politician, then how can you do it? You can do it through NGOs, through some charity work, through education initiatives. And I think it's a must. You know, so people sometimes approach us and say, you guys are great, I admire you. I'm saying, listen, I'm humbled. I feel embarrassed that we are amongst, you know, a rare group of people who are thinking this way, because this should be a value in the society. So as you said, we are trying to be an example as well. We don't advertise, we just, you know, first 10 years we didn't even have a website because we didn't want to make it about us. But then we realized we might be missing the opportunity to promote what it means to run such a foundation. So we started to kind of slowly spread our story.
It's difficult for you to find a balance between like avoiding promoting yourselves because you're not doing that for that reason.
Exactly.
But on the other hand, if you don't do that, then how can people know about the idea of giving and doing such thing or joining your initiative?
I think we found a nice mix, which is we let kids and people we support talk about their experiences. That's one. And number two, we try to keep our, you know, with our manager Maria, she tries to keep, you know, the social channels active, so to promote our activities. And then we try to say, you know, why we do this as well. But you will not see, apart from the names of the founders, you will not see too much about exactly kind of, you know, it's not about us, it's about the work we do. So again, I think the topic of legacy and Zadužbina, endowment, is a huge topic, but I think it's a little bit too advanced for where we are today, maybe even for this session as a society, because it's not going to be a mass topic, right? A number of individuals from this generation might be thinking this way, but you need to be thinking legacy. You need to be thinking what you know, leave behind, and that's a big topic. I think for now we are more concerned, how do we kind of solve issues of you know, more private involvement, because yes, you have the Ministry of Culture, you have you know, different foundations, you have many companies who have CSR, corporate social responsibility initiatives. You have, you know, European funds, many international funds, but we are mostly inspired by the large foundations from the West, you know, private families, large organizations, where again, somebody 100 years ago said, I need to create a system. So to Milica's point, we are trying to create a self-sustainable system. I'm thinking, how will Dobar Glas work when we are all not here? That's our idea. But we are starting from small steps, which is, you know, how do we collect several thousand euro for some cause, right? And who is most needy? I think we are about, 15, 16 members. When the founders started this foundation, including myself in 2009, we said, let's use our own business connections, private connections, our experience in running complex projects, in organizing people, in, you know, kind of the business experience of running things. Let's try to implement that classical music or artistic music environment, just to kind of add our skills there. That's number one. Number two, that was the kind of first thing. How can we help, with our own skills? The second reason was, I think all of us were involved in some type of charity or philanthropy, but then we realized that, you have this top layer where you have large foundations, and then you have individual people, helping a cause here and there, right? Budi Human is a beautiful example of somebody creating a portal where you can donate for individual, sick individuals. A beautiful concept. I fully support that. But then, in this middle layer, how do you collect 50, 100,000 euros, something, not in the millions, not in the tens? You can do that by kind of engaging a middle class, small, medium businesses, individuals. You need to kind of make this kind of funnel of money coming in from these funds, coming in from this kind of segment. But you can do that only if people know where the money is going. Because I think when we started in 2009, there were a lot of negative examples of foundations. The law of foundations was just being launched or voted in Parliament. It was before just funds. And there was a misconception of what a foundation is. Even today, people think we have millions, so they call us. Can you support our child with 50,000 euro? I said, no, our whole budget is in the tens of thousands, not in the hundreds or in the millions. So there's a misconception of what a foundation is. People think it's some people with a lot of money, and we wanted to create a foundation where we would kind of put in a lot of our own efforts, skills, connections. But number one, put our own names and our own references. So examples. So when somebody puts in 50 euro, 100 euro, 1,000 euro, I'm sorry we're talking money, but this is the topic of this profane topic item is the topic of today's conference. When somebody puts a certain amount, he or she wants to know where this money is going. So we said, let us be the guarantor or guarantee of where the funds are going. Why? Because we will choose where the money is going, we will control that the money is well spent, we will report back. But then for this, we wanted to have independence. So the kind of downside with this approach is that we said, we are privately funded, we are funded by our own sponsors, but then we control where the money is going because we report only to them. We did not yet open funding to the mass public, so you don't have like a portal where anybody can log in. Of course, if you know about our concert, you can come in and buy a ticket, but these tickets are maybe 50 euro, 100 euro. These are not tickets, these are sponsorship contracts, where a small medium company comes in and buys 10 tickets for 50 euro, so they donate 500 euro. See, so we're trying to get into this kind of middle layer of funding, and I think we've been successful, but it's a lot of work in kind of pulling the strings every time. And this is like our formula. Another thing we discovered was I think that in the West, there's even some type of ranking of foundations based on how much money they distribute. So we see ourselves as kind of distributing, our target is like 90% of funds to the point before, to be distributed outside, which means that we have to have a very slim management structure and overhead structure. Because what's the point that we are spending our money on our own salaries or offices or cars or whatever? We have our manager who is here with us. We have, we use our own offices, we pay our own dinners, we pay our own trips, travel, etc. So all the money that we collect goes out.
You have minimized the
absolutely. This is the whole point.
Of course.
This is the whole point.
Yeah.
And not only that, we also control where the funds are going, because sometimes you want to help a child, but maybe a professor will also want to go on the trip. We say, why is the professor needed? Okay, maybe one, but not three professors, right? So we need to challenge them to make sure that it's a little bit of micromanagement, but like this, you're also making sure that people who are giving the funds trust your kind of judgment.
So it's some sort of balance between credibility and transparency. You have to be very careful how much transparency and credibility also extremely important.
Absolutely, credibility is everything. And secondly,
showing that you are channel money in
absolutely.
Right way, you gain credibility.
Absolutely.
By your name.
Absolutely.
So results. I mean, the results also bring and when we talk about the results, this is a very, I would say that this is an important issue, because in your case particularly, we are talking children. and they may be gifted, they may be very hardworking, and we all know that there is this saying that the talent is 10% and 90% is work, but that is not really important for my question here. And the point is, we cannot really know what will happen to a child after the teenage period and everything, but we have to follow and trust in our investment.
I think we used a little bit of business experience here, because I, for example, consult banks internationally on segmenting the client base, how to approach different clients with different strategies. So I just used the same knowledge. We use the same knowledge in Foundation Dobar Glas. We said, okay, so this is a funnel, right? Here you have the whole population of Serbia, and we're focused on Serbia only. And then on top you have Nemanja Radulović, Stefan Mileković, Gordan Nikolić, and the beautiful examples of most successful current musicians that we all love and adore. So Roman Simovic. But here on top you have like, especially rural Serbia. We don't focus so much on Belgrade, right? Because we realize that when professors from Ćuprija Musical School of Talents, when they dig for talent, they go to the smaller villages and cities in Serbia and ask teachers of elementary schools, where are the gifted kids? So they're really doing the groundwork in collecting, right? So we said, we don't have the time or the knowledge or the energy to do that. So let's help the school, because school does that for us. By helping the school, first of all, school is an institution. To your point, or to Ilya's point, we're missing institutions in this country. And this is my feeling, having lived and worked abroad, is like, I always think like, what are the institutions that we really love and trust and which will survive us, right? So School of Musical Talent in Ćuprija will survive us. They're already 50 years in existence, hopefully another 100. So let's help an institution, the brilliant professors, the management, the kids. That's something that we should kind of continue supporting. But these are the ones which are opening the funnel. However, the school is supported by the Ministry of Education and Culture. So we don't have to pay for the bills, of heating or food, but who's going to pay for the strings of the kids? Well, usually parents, but parents are not that well off. So kids are playing with all strings. So let us focus on helping kids with strings, or helping them with funding a competition for which there is no funding, especially during COVID time. So you see, we're not helping them with, here's 100,000, pay the bills. We're saying, what do you need the money for? But we are helping this widest population through working with school. Exactly. We're covering where the need is. So we have a little bit of a laser focus, really targeting where we can help. This is one thing. Then we said, when kids finish school, they go mostly to Belgrade or to bigger cities or Novi Sad. Then they kind of then they go to academies, because Ćuprija covers elementary and high school. Then they go to academies. So how do we not lose track with them to academies? Then we created another program, which is our grants for scholarships. 3 times €1,000 every year is given for most talented kids which pass our kind of competition. Plus, by putting their videos on YouTube, we promote them as well. We then, then they later participate on our concerts. So you see, this is how we keep but it's already, the funnel is already closing. Then we say, but even the more talented of those, let's kind of see how we can, start with some master classes. So from last year and this year, we started working with Nemanja Radulović on first master classes, but then this year master camp. We took 4 very talented kids for a paid 1 week in Kaštel Ečka in Vojvodina, where they had a time of their lives in 1 week dedicated only with Nemanja. So Nemanja is really a darling and a fantastic person and a fantastic musician. He came, set the time aside of his family and his professional career to spend literally 1 week with these kids. Full dedicated support. Of course, Stephanie, another pianist from France, Fontana Rosa, who came to help as a choreographer. So you see, then like even more. And then there are specific cases, Dusan Ilić, Nena Dimović, of somebody who is already abroad, who needs, like you're doing with Berkeley, which I really admire, and I want to learn more how you do these things in helping these talents now go to top schools and universities, because this is where their career really kicks off. And then eventually, pray to God, we'll have another Nemanja maybe in 20 years time. So this is how and then working with Roman Simovic, with Goran Nikolić, with Nemanja, to kind of give them also a feeling of giving back, participating in their concerts, and kind of, then the whole circle is kind of closed
and everything.
Believe it or not, it's not only the kids. We feel we are an inspiration for teachers as well. When we go to Chupriya, I see bigger smiles in professors than in kids. Because for kids, it's a bit like, okay, somebody came in and helped us with, strings. But then to go to a teacher who is in Chupriya, the smile on their face, like, really, somebody came to help us? This is what gives us a really absolute. We didn't mention COVID. Maybe just want to say a couple of words.
Yes, please do.
Of our work. I will be very short because I'd love to engage also Jacqueline and others in the discussion. Which is during COVID, we realized that the people we are helping and working with, they live from performances, and even the best of musicians, the top talent, their budget for last year was zero. They had like zero revenue because the concert seasons were canceled, as you also said yourself. First of all, they need to perform, and I fully support this kind of idea of kind of giving back. That's a beautiful idea, and I think we should organize. Hopefully, things will normalize now. But what we discovered is, okay, our gala concert. I forgot to say in one of our elements is of course the gala concert, where we kind of do the whole thing, the whole presentation together.
It's also fundraising.
It's also fundraising for the foundation. So we promote the musicians which we gave the grants to last year. We have some of these big names participating. We talk about philanthropy. So it's kind of the big gala. But then there was no gala last year. So we said no, let's still go to Kolarac with masks. Let's kind of record this giving of grants to kids. Let's kind of show that we're not giving up. We're ready to kind of even work in these circumstances. So I think, and also with Nemanja, we said, okay, if they go to Master Kapinečka, whatever the situation with COVID will be, we will have them all PCR tested. We will have, only 5 of them in the room with social distancing. Even the concert was in the church was with masks. So kind of we said, let's not give up because we could, again, with this laser focus, we could create what we want. Because to Milica's point, we have independence. We have transparency. We have credibility, but we have independence to quickly move, adjust. This was a kind of a benefit for us in this COVID time.